A sharp snap brought Niv to a stop, halfway across the common. He spun towards the survivor, and the pain would have driven him to his knees if not for the sight before him. Fine cracks splayed out from a shatter point on the left side of the survivor's visor above the cheek. Faint crackles accompanied their continued spread. They had to hurry. The survivor pulled his arm away and reached for the base of his helmet. Too slow, Niv watched the seal break. A hairnet filled with brown tresses flopped below ears to frame an angular face, marked by high cheekbones and narrow eyes. Small red dots marred the starkly pink tone of the left cheek and forehead. The first words were gibberish, and spoken in a timbre too high to be a man's. He found himself looking into the greenest eyes he'd ever seen. A trickle of blood started down her forehead towards her chiseled nose. It didn't belong. He snatched a gauze pad from his personal medkit. She grabbed his wrist and snapped at him with a vehemence he couldn't mistake, then froze, her gaze directed at the gauze. He gaped at the place on her forehead where the trickle of blood had been smeared. How could he have been so stupid? The blood-stained gauze slipped from his hand to reveal a pair of red-stained fingertips. He'd blown the last quarantine barrier in one unthinking moment. The sound of ripping fabric drew his attention to where the survivor performed the awkward task of opening a slim packet with gloved hands. The tissue she removed gave off a mild antiseptic smell. Her intention could not be clearer, and might be his last line of defense. He held his hand out. She spoke more gibberish as she wiped the stained fingers, then wadded her garbage up and stuffed it into a pocket. Niv wanted to shrink back into the lockers. At least one of us has kept their head. She shook her head and made another short remark. He sighed in frustration. I can't understand a thing you're saying either. And, quite frankly, I'm so far from home. There's little likelihood of finding even the roughest of matches. She put a hand to her back and grimaced. He remembered the large crease across that part of her suit. That I should be able to deal with. He motioned for her to continue following. Beyond the treatment bed to their right, the diagnostic terminal blinked, ready for action. Maybe the best news he'd received yet. He turned to see the survivor deposit her gloves on the far counter near the unpacked first aid kit. She looked at him and made another unintelligible comment. How are they going to get anywhere if they couldn't communicate? Welcome. This week I'll be reviewing Romance Amongst the Stars in Synergy of Hopes by Edwin Downward, here on the Board Goddess Book Reviews. Welcome once more, my space-loving friends, to my humble library where, this week, I'm pleased to review a science fiction fantasy that truly pushes interstellar bounds. Synergy of Hopes by Edwin Downward. Please remember that by liking and subscribing to my channel, you're helping me carry on uncovering unique stories and to keep creating video book reviews for your enjoyment and entertainment. While you're at it, please feel free to toss a comment or two my way below with thoughts on the books I review, as well as things you'd be interested in seeing added to my videos or reviews. Or you can just say hi. And before another moment goes by, thanks to each of you who have become a part of my little gatherings. You make each video worthwhile. Now, for my new viewers, let me introduce Mad Max, my chief ratings duck. He and his remarkable feathered pals work tirelessly to collect the most accurate and dependable data to create ratings that are so perfect, it's as if they were meticulously crafted by the gods of precision themselves. So, keep watching, my friends, and I'll share those incredible ratings with you at the end of my review. Okay, Max, shall we dance across the heavens with this incredible story? Then, let's take a celestial spin, my friends. This week's humble offering is a fantastic intergalactic adventure Synergy of Hopes by Edwin Downward. Before we go any further, I should note this book is intended for mature audiences, specifically older teens and adults, due to scenes of violence. While very important to the story and well written by the author, I did want to make sure I mentioned this, in case there are viewers who are sensitive to this kind of topic. Ensign Niv Pul Exavant has worked hard to be given the opportunity to pilot a prototype starship that has been designed by his grandfather, a man he loves, admires, and respects immensely. However, he never anticipated being hurled into uncharted territory by a peculiar anomaly, nor did he expect to encounter a person who would transform his existence in ways he never would have imagined. Reluctantly accepting her aid, he finds himself plunged into deeper turmoil. However, with the passage of time, he realizes that the source of his predicament is much closer to home than he ever anticipated. This book was another amazing author submission to my website, and a great example of the exceptional stories which inspired me to create these videos. My initial observation was the exceptional quality of the personal interactions between the characters. From the outset, the world-building of society was depicted in such a vivid and detailed manner that it provided a sense of realism which I found truly engaging. The book captivated me with its thought-provoking and intriguing storyline. It was a thrilling blend of action, espionage, and a delightful touch of engineering marvels. The characters were truly fascinating, and their interactions added an extra layer of excitement to the narrative. The societies depicted in the book were nothing short of amazing. The author skillfully crafted a world that was both familiar and yet wonderfully different. The technology was incredibly cool, especially the spy gadgets. Although I did find myself a bit surprised by how advanced it all was, compared to the protagonist's situation, which made it a bit overpowered in my opinion. Overall, this book was a roller coaster ride of adventure and innovation. I was incredibly interested by the way the protagonist suffered from psychological issues, due to his being born and raised on a space station. The vastness of the planets left him overwhelmed, as if the sky would crash if he let his guard down. To me, that was a brilliant bit of character development. There were some areas of the story in its entirety which compelled me to question aspects of plausibility. For instance, it was hard to understand how he could have been shot so far into space without any knowledge of interplanetary languages or even star charts. I did find it interesting to see how the larger society to which the protagonist belonged was actively involved in local politics and the economy. However, I couldn't quite grasp why they needed to be so obvious about their meddling. The larger kingdom or empire that he was a part of still remains unclear to me as well, but it might be possible this will be explained in future books. Lastly, I have to be honest. I did find it puzzling why the main male lead was portrayed as irresistible when, for me, I could find nothing particularly remarkable about him. Beyond that, on a personal note, as many of you know, I prefer a strong female character who can hold her own. But this book leans towards a traditional essence. This diverges from my typical literary choices. However, it possesses an allure which no doubt would captivate other readers who enjoy these types of underlying themes. Okay, Max, it's time to rate this book. Are you ready? Max, my man, you got it. Max and I are in complete agreement that this book is skillfully crafted, meticulously planned, and a great read. So we are awarding Synergy of Hopes by Edwin Downward with 4 ducks and a chicken. I have linked to the Amazon affiliate page for this book below. Please do check out this author's incredible story. Have you read Synergy of Hopes? I would love to discuss it with you in the comments, or in my Discord, also linked below. I am also on Instagram, Goodreads, Facebook, and X. The links are there. Would you like to be part of the Goddessers? Join in by sending me a coffee. The link is listed below. Every little bit helps me to keep making my weekly videos. And I'll send a shout out to you here in one of my reviews. And remember to share your affinity to our little world. And encourage others to join us. So guys, that's it for now. Thanks so much for hanging with me. Adios till next Wednesday. May your day be epic and may awesomeness follow you like a puppy needing hugs. Bye all. Welcome. This week I'll be reviewing. There were some areas in the story I'm going to sneeze. Best line ever.